Hello, friends. Welcome back to Aaron's Anxiety. I'm your host, Aaron, your personal guide through anxiety. Today, I want to talk about a way to kind of calm yourself down. Let's say you're having an attack, panic attack, an anxiety attack. You're having dwelling thoughts. You're having that elevated feeling that something is about to go down. Well, there's actually techniques that you can do to calm you, and there is a lot of techniques that you can do. However, not all the techniques are really worth anything. Some of them, I feel like they were just made up by somebody who's looking to write an article. But the techniques that I took from all the ones that were out there that actually worked for me was, okay, so the base things that you can do, the things that you're probably already doing or trying to figure out, is distraction. Distraction is going to be a big part of getting those elevated feelings down. So what I would do is I'd actually play a video game. The reason I would play a video game as opposed to watching TV or listening to music is because it was interactive. It required me to think and to adhere decision making into what was going on. So not only is it a distraction, it requires something of me, an input of me to make things, happen. So if anybody's interested, the game I happened to be playing at that time was the Infamous game. It was the last one. This is only for my gamer, subscribers and viewers. It was the Last Sun, I think it is. Something Sun. But anyways, it was the one for PlayStation 4. So, back to that. That was one of the things that I would do. And so, of course, you go through missions and you have little quests and all these other things, and it just distracts your brain. And at first you're going to still be thinking about it and just going through the motions, but then all of a sudden you'll find yourself actually adhering to the game and not thinking as much about what's going on over here. Sometimes your emotions could be elevated to where something like that's not really much of an option yet. And so I would get there sometimes and I didn't know what to do, and eventually I stumbled across a couple things that actually worked to help calm me down. Now, the big thing, and I'm sure if you've already done research on anxiety, I'm sure you've came across this at some point, but if you haven't, I'm going to recover it anyway, just in case you don't. There's breathing and anxiety go really hand in hand for the most part. When you get anxiety, you tend to shallow breathe, and the more you shallow breathe, the more your heartbeat goes up, the more everything goes up, because it's trying to displace all the oxygen into your body. So you need to pay attention. If you are having anxiety, pay attention. How is my breathing right now? Am I breathing deeply enough? Am I having enough oxygen? Now, what you don't want to do is go, because now you're going to be flooding oxygen in there, and then you're going to start hyperventilating. So you don't want to do that. So there's a breathing technique that you can use, and this is if you're feeling these weird feelings, or if you are at the max peak here and you need to calm yourself down. And it's the 4-7-8 breathing technique. So how does the 4-7-8 work? You go in your nose 4 seconds, and then you hold it for 7, and then you let it out your mouth for 8. You want to make that whoosh sound. Or you can also do it. But I do the whoosh. That way you don't have to have that weird face all the time. So, in 4 seconds through your nose, hold it for 7 seconds, and then whoosh it out of your mouth for 8 seconds. And that will slowly but surely get all of your oxygen levels where they need to be, and you'll actually will feel the anxiety calm down. it's a pretty amazing thing. I used it a lot. It was kind of a crutch for me for a while. But that is one great way to do it. What was the other way I had for you guys? I had the other way too. I think of what it was. I had another way. Now I can't think what that way was. What the way was. Way was. What was that other way that I had? You guys are gonna be so mad because as soon as I turn this video off, I'm gonna be like, oh, hey, I know what that other way was. But as you guys know, I don't edit my videos. I just you get me like this. So let me think for a second. It just slipped my mind. Oh, got it. See, I knew it was gonna come back to me. Sorry, we had to go on this little trip here, but it is back. It's always fun. Okay, so the other way, which is actually another very, very good way to do things, as far as calming yourself down, when you have anxiety, and especially if you have depersonalization, derealization, you tend to get out of the real world and more into your head, and you feel like you're in your own little world. And so the best thing that you can do is kind of unsheath the blinds and get back into the real world. And that's easier said than done, but there's actually a technique to help you do that. And I found that it worked for me. I'm not going to recommend anything to you guys that I haven't done or that I don't know if it works or not. But these things do work. So to get back into the real world and out of your head from intrusive thoughts and things like that, this one goes by the 3 rule. The 3 rule is it takes your senses, because the world around you and how you perceive it is all a matter of how you're sensing it with your sensories or your taste type, touch, sound, all that fun stuff. So what you need to do is use the 3 rule to get back into the real world. And the 3 rule is you need to use your senses in groups of 3s. So if I was sitting here, say I was having a panic attack, or if I'm feeling really depersonalized, or if my anxiety is going elevated like crazy, I would first touch 3 things around me. So I would touch like center console. It has a different texture. Try to look for different textures. You really want to get tactile with this. So touch like the console, touch the window. Those are 2 very different textures. And then touch like my steering wheel cover as a different texture. And you want to do 3 of those. And try to find, like I said, as different textures you can find. And just touch them. You don't have to go far. Just wherever you're sitting. There's always 3 things to do. And then try to listen to 3 different things. And that sometimes can sound hard. Unless you're in a deeply quiet room, it's usually not. So like right now, if I were to close my eyes, it always helps to close your eyes. And you're to listen. So I can hear my van running. I hear a car pulling up on the other side. And then I hear the traffic over there. But I mean, I could also use my breathing too. If you can always, you're always breathing. So then open your eyes and then go to 3 different things to look at that are completely different, and take note of them in your head. So like if I'm looking forward, I'm looking at a semi-trailer with the little 53 foot on the side of it. And then if I go over here, there's a sign that says New Supreme Plus. I'm guessing it's a gasoline because I'm at a gas station right now. And then if I go over this way, there's a brick wall that says ATM Transact. But on the act, it has the little A at sign with their clamor. So Yeah, and you can go through all of your senses like that, and what you'll find is it almost like recalibrates you to the world around you, because you're paying more attention to what's going around as opposed to pay attention to what's going on in your head. And I mean, if you're sitting in the kitchen and you want to use taste, go for it. So it works well with all of your senses. But yeah, it's the 3 rule, the 3 senses rule, or is it the senses 3 rule? We have a consensus about the senses for the 3 rule. Alright friends, well that's going to wrap up this video. Nothing too crazy, but this will help. I promise you that it would help. It helped really well for me. So I'm assuming it's going to help for you too. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comments. What I would really love is if you guys have something that kind of brings you down. If you're feeling anxious, if you have any tips or advice on this subject, please leave them in the comments below. Because one, it takes 2 minutes to write out a thing. It doesn't even take that. It takes like a minute to write out a thing that says, hey, this is what I do to calm me down. And then it's probably going to help people, because there's going to be people that are going to watch this and then they're going to go down to the comments and they're going to see what works for everybody else. And so just because these ones work for me doesn't mean they're going to work for everybody. So you may have something that's going to work for more people than I can help. So please, 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 if you have something, leave it in the comments below that calms you down, and we'll all try to work together. We're all in this same boat together, so we gotta help each other. Everybody grab an oar, because we are gonna get this, and this ain't nothing but a thing, chicken wing. So, all right, friends, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video.